Alright, Rise of the Machine! The AI Dungeon Master is upon us.
I'm Nerdarchy Ted.
And I'm Nerdarchy Dave. Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds.
Alright, so what are we talking about today, sir?
Alright, Rise of the Machine! The AI Dungeon Master is upon us. What shall we do?
Oh man, so there's been, a lot of talk about, AI recently, and you shared this whole concept of the AI Dungeon Master, and, it definitely got some conversation talking.
I will say the inspiration for this video is I think I saw something somewhere where Wizards of the Coast might be trying to offer with their VTT AI Dungeon Mastering. So it's like, oh, you want to play the game, but you have no Dungeon Master. We can do that for you too.
It's one of those concepts, and I've done some research on AI and what have you, and I just don't think we're quite there yet.
Right now, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's there's these, basically AI chat.
What you talking about, huh?
Someone's taking, they have two AI and they have a conversation with each other, and people have done it. I've heard of news, people passing off news that they let AI create, and then they go back and edit it. So it's getting different uses. But here's the thing: AI is only going to become more prevalent and smarter.
That is true. The whole idea behind AI is that it learns through the whole, part of it. It's artificial intelligence. That's what it stands for. So that means there's intelligence there and it can learn. We've seen the movies that talk about, AI, be it iRobot or, Terminator type stuff, and none of them go well, but people still haven't learned and still want to go down this road.
Well, I mean, I recently had to go back to a Muggle job, and on a regular basis, I listen to my robot overlord. It tells me where to go, what to get, and how many of them. So, I don't know, it seems to be working out fine.
All right, so there was this AI prank that was done. Do you want to share this? What information you've got about it?
So there's a video, artificial intelligence prank, and it is, can an AI be a convincing dungeon master? And the way it's set up is there's a player, there's a dungeon master. They're divided by a screen so they can't see each other. But on the other side with the dungeon master, there's someone else, and they're typing in the responses from the player. And then then the AI is spitting out what's happening, what's going on in the game. It's basically being the game master, and it actually kind of worked. This is 2 years ago as well. And that YouTube channel is Tabletop Time. Go check them out. You can go check out that video. It was kind of a fun experiment, if nothing else.
So let's get into, what are the pros of an AI Dungeon Master?
So one of the big pros I would say to an AI Dungeon Master is death to the Forever Dungeon Master. At least those of the Forever Dungeon Master, not by their choice.
Right. And I was going to say, there's lots of people out there that enjoy being the Forever Dungeon Master. So for those tables, it wouldn't be affected. But, the countless people that I see at conventions that are like, I come to conventions because I'm my group's Forever GM, and I never get a chance to play because no one else is willing. So this could be, that whole thing. But, when you look at it, it also becomes a switch from a Dungeon Master created story to a more reactionary player-driven story.
Yeah, you don't have a DM person per se that is, generating a story for the group. It's going to be reacting to what the group does, I would say, more than anything. So, I feel like the story should be more, it's going to end up being more player-driven.
Yeah, when you're getting to the point where you're just reacting to what the players are doing, if the player's like, oh, is there something like this? Then it's a yes or a no. And when it's yes, that means it's starting to go down a trail related to what that player is looking for.
Then it's just a fun social experiment. I think it would be fun to do this with one of our groups or all of our groups and just see what it's like and experiment it. Maybe we'll like it, maybe we'll hate it. But I just can't go, oh, this sucks without ever experiencing it at all. It's like my kids when they're like, oh, I don't want to eat that. I'm like, have you ever tried it? No. Well, you should at least try it to know if you like it or not.
Try it. You'll like it.
No, sir, I don't like it.
You know, without that, you know, knowledge, you really don't know what's to be expected. And, you know, when you look at it, it could be one of those things that it just becomes a memorable story. You know, is it going to be your best, you know, session? Is it going to be something that, you know, is going to live throughout the ages? At this level of technology, I doubt it, but it could be fun, and it could be utterly hilarious when, you know, the AI doesn't know what to do because you've prompted it with something that it doesn't quite understand.
Yeah, well, I will say, like, there are some inconsistencies in the prank, but it still put out like kind of a cohesive story, and also like machine learning's getting it's getting there, and it's moving fast. You know, it can churn out, you know, papers at the college level.
That's true. All right, so what are the cons of the AI Dungeon Master?
Well, one of the things, and this is something some people will care about and some people won't, but it is also a good solution for the forever DM as well, and that is pro dungeon masters. You know, they're out there, people that get paid for their services, and they run games for folks, and that's how they make their living.
You know, there's the other worry of, can an AI generated, you know, campaign or story be as creative and fun as the one that's actually being produced by the professionals?
So I don't think it'll be as creative, but I don't know that means it can't be as fun.
You know, it's a dangerous line to walk. I mean, it's really one of those things that I look at is fun is so subjective. When we look at, you know, the games that we have played, you know, the mindsets you get into, and I've said this, you know, countless times before, role-playing games are let's play pretend with some rules and dice and just go from there. So really, like, imagination gets into a lot of it, and I don't know how imaginative, you know, the machine learning is going to push things, but it's one of those things that I imagine the more this happens, the more AI generated, you know, campaigns that are out there, the more the whole system has the ability to be like, okay, well, maybe I can try this, maybe I can try that. It's always going to lack the sympathy, I imagine, of, you know, the dungeon master who's willing to kind of pull punches, and I know some players and DMs hate that, but, you know, it's out there. It's a play style of like, all right, well, you know, I'm gonna do this, but it also doesn't have the ability to ramp up, or it might not have the ability to ramp up if the players aren't being challenged. If it's just got, well, this is the static story, this is the static story.
Yeah, that part will be really interesting to see. But, like, here's the thing. You could literally feed your AI Dungeon Master every adventure that's ever been written for a ttrpg. So it would actually have access to more information and inspiration probably than any GM alive or living, right? So there is that, but will it be able to construct that into a story or whatever? I think it will. I think, you know, structures are already built into these things, and it can learn that.
I would agree, and, you know, computers are great. At some point in time, it's going to be able to do things far better than what any professional can do, because it's going to have the categoric knowledge of everything. You know, while, you know, we are great dungeon masters, you know, we don't know everything in all of those books. You know, we don't have the knowledge of every single piece of lore that has ever been released. But if you feed a computer too much information, eventually something's going to conflict with each other, and that's going to lead to some hilarious moments.
And that's one of the other things, even though it's kind of a con, but I feel like that'll be the computer's version of dropping immature jokes and Monty Python references at the table.
So I guess it kind of boils down to, like, our company is going to use this to kind of exploit gamers out of even more money by just like, oh, well, you know, we've created our own specific AI, you know, that we can offer out that doesn't cost them anything, but now all of a sudden here's this, you know, GM that they can use to run, you know, their version of their game, you know, what have you.
Allow me to answer that question for you, Ted. Yes, they will. Absolutely, they're going to do it, and I think that's what Wizards Coast kind of wants to do. Like, oh, would you like to add the AI GM module to your VTT on D&D Beyond now? And you don't even need any friends, and you can still play D&D.
I mean, there's it's a con and it's a pro at the same time. Like there's countless people out there who talk about that they wish that they could keep gaming, but the group fell apart, or the GM left the group, and it's stuck. So like, it's a con, but it's a pro at the same time. I'm sorry.
So the question is, Ted, will you, and maybe you guys out there, would you try AI Dungeon Master?
I would totally give it a try. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think right now it's going to be as stellar, but I'm here for the lulls, as I say.
Yeah. Try it, Ted. I triple dog dare you. Try it.
I triple dog dare you.
So, do you like the content that Nerdarchy creates and you'd like to support more? You can always check us out at Nerdarchy the store, as well as Nerdarchy on Patreon. Links are going to be down in the description below.
Let us know what you think. Is this total hogwash, or would you use it at your table? Do you and your friends just chopping at the bit to let your robot overlord now entertain you with Dungeons and Dragons, or maybe some other RPG?
So while you're down there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click on that notification bell. You know the drill.
Quick reminder, we drop several new videos on the channel every week, so come on back. But you can't wait till then? No worries, we got you covered. Check out, what is a Dungeon Master worth? Pay to play Dungeons and Dragons.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.